Welcome to the Inside Cafe. I'm your host, Nikki and I, and today, I have my dear friend, Miss Nikki. Her full name is Miss 𝗛𝗲𝗹𝗹𝗹𝗪𝗛, and she is the director of Media and International Communications at an international PR agency. She's also a spokesperson for the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, the Republic of Indonesia and Thailand, and the Indochina market. Moreover, she's also the advocate for gender diversity in the workplace. And not just that, there's more. She's an invited lecturer, speaker in communications and business as well as the LGBTQ advocate in local and international organizations in Thailand. And she's even spoken in Germany as well. She's the founder of the YouTube channel TransTalent, where she hopes to, and correct me if I'm wrong, really give the trans community more resources on how to lead a professional life.
Correct, yeah.
And I want to read her mission, because her mission, that's one of the reasons we're talking, is your mission is to help rebrand the stereotype of the Thai trans community to show that they too deserve equal opportunity to add value to companies, communities, and countries in the long term for the betterment of society as a whole. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning ค่ะ
So we've done this podcast in Thai, but it was so moving and so powerful to me that I had to invite you back to do the English version. And one of the main reasons I invited you on is to really not only share your story, but I think, and people are going to see it in your story, that the things you've had to overcome and the resources you had to find in yourself to create what you've created, I think are remarkable. So I'd love for us to start. Tell us your story. How did Miss Nikki become Miss Nikki today?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you again for inviting me to join this, English version. Inside Cafe is so happy to be here. And yeah, actually my life was starting, very, very simple, as you say. I was born and raised in Thailand, in Bangkok, for the 3 decades, and I was born in slum. And living as a transgender in Thailand is still a curse, and it's still like onward. Why? In the Thai society, when you were born and raised in the community where the transgender is not accepted, it's very hard. And also the people around, family, friends, the media in Thailand also portray us as those who are not credible, as those who can have the life that end with sad stories, a tragedy as always, as those who has just only one card as a failure, cannot be successful in life. I don't know why this idea came in. So at the beginning of my early age, I had an idea that, well, when I looked around, all the transgender people has been, working in quite, 3 sectors: beauty, media, entertainment sectors, which is the 3 sectors that I've seen these people working since, many, many years ago. And I had a question that, what if I do different? What if I make it different? And what if I can have a better life? I mean, another life, another roles of life, which is work in the professional careers and do something different that the society, label us what to do. So that's why it becomes to me to that about that belief that I never believe in what the society told me, what the friend and family also told me that, okay, my life just end in that way. No, I always say no to that kind of belief, and I believe and stand for myself to do something different. So I paved my way with that belief into today I am. Many, many decades, I proved that actually trans can work in the professional career as I am today. I work in many, many organizations, public and private sectors, and I proved that we could be the value asset and value added to the community, to the company, to the society. Yeah, that's here I am today.
So, I think it's so interesting because the things that you were up against, I think, because as a coach, a lot of my clients face that too. It's just they have these ideas of things they cannot do. Like, I can't do that just because people told me I can't do it. So I'm curious, as a young person, like how did you overcome those kind of stereotypes? Because it wasn't, because I understand in our culture, the stereotypes against trans people, it's not subtle. It's not like, oh, you can't do that. It's like, no, you can only be three things, right? The in media, entertainment, or beauty. What, I guess as a young person, where did you find that inside of you to say, I'm going to do something different?
Yeah. So I think, the biggest challenge in life, I think, is about believing in yourself. I think that's very key and a big power inside me when I was so young. As I mentioned, I never, believe what the others say to me that I can't. I always say to myself that how can I do it? How can I be better? And that's a key word that I always tell my inner self in myself. And I believe in myself to be, better. So I think believing in yourself is very important. And um, once you are facing these kind of, challenges, hardship, stigmatization, discrimination from many, many factors in life, in work, in relationship, for example. But when you come to revisit your purpose, your belief, it's gonna give you an answer and the direction in which you can go. And I think that the first initial and powerful mindset I have since I was very young. And yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's what I say.
And so this kind of drive and energy led you to getting a scholarship in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Like what was that journey like? Because I'm sure along the way, I mean, because from listening to your story, it sounds like it wasn't, okay, I had a powerful mindset, everything's fine, right? It seems like there were challenges after challenges.
Yeah.
What was that journey like to, and going eventually studying in Switzerland? Like, what did you learn from that?
Okay, so I would say apart from the mindset that I had very strong for myself, I also believe that education is very important. You know, born in slum in a poor area of Bangkok and have a really financial crisis since I was very early age, drove me a lot to have, better education. Because in that time, I believe that's the only way that could pull me out of that dramatic life. So that's why I try to pave my way on education. I study very hard, you know, learning many things on that time, and I was a very, not as a good traditional student. I don't study only in school, but I love reading news and learn something more on this, TV, film, and more things. I didn't play that much because I need to earn life for the family as well. And during the part time, I study, you know, not apart from reading, but also do other things stuff. And then I paved my way on education. And I believe that having education overseas can open my views, open my eyes, and can add more value to my journey to work in the professional career. So how could you say that? I found a way to have this, scholarship competition. And then I joined it, and I working hard to win that scholarship, which is funded fully by the Swiss government scholarship in that time, 2010. And I was the first transgender who won the scholarship. And I'm one of the two person, a Thai citizen, who won the scholarship in that year, competing all around ASEAN students, to go to Switzerland to pursue my study in master degree in tourism.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I'm curious now, did you find different or similar stereotypes abroad as you did in Thailand? Were they different, or what did you see there?
You mean stereotype in
Yeah,
transgender or what?
correct. Like as your own experience, what was different or the same?
My own experience being there in Switzerland, there is nothing wrong. I couldn't feel some discrimination at all. This is like maybe strange, but to me, I never faced that kind of prejudice, discrimination, because I was like student, and people are so welcoming. even, when I go to any places, face the situation outside of the class, I'm living in there 2 years. I never experienced that kind of, negative feedback from the people living there. But in Thailand, it's different.
So that's interesting. You had to go abroad to kind of find acceptance or be in a place where you were like more accepted. And so now you're coming back to Thailand, and I'd love for you to share about maybe your professional journey. Like, what was it like for you to, start your professional career and really make your way to the top because now you're the director, right, of a large organization in the PR department. Because I'm sure you had to face a lot of walls along the way.
Yeah, I will share this to you. I think I have shared earlier. Like, well, my journey is also, as you can imagine, trans, never get the doors open for them
Right. We
when
talked about
applying
that
the job.
in the Taiwan.
In Thailand, I share you statistics, 77% of the transgender women got rejected from the job application. And I was one of that.
Simply because they were transgender. So
simply because, yeah.
Have you ever had anybody just tell you to your face that we can't give you this job because you're a transgender woman?
Often.
Often.
When I was applying the jobs and I came back from Switzerland, at that time I thought like, yeah, I got a very, quality education and background. But, in the end, when I applied the job, I remember that time almost like, 50 organizations, and I didn't get any job.
So every single one just turned you down?
No, turned me down. And, I was the one that just called them, asking all that organization, what was the reason why you rejected me? I think I quite like, I was very brave that time. I don't know why, but I was curious, by the way. I don't know what it means, like brave or not, but I was curious. Because, I have some kind of inside feeling that, yeah, maybe because of I'm a transgender, maybe, but I want to make it clear. I don't want to, go with kind of like confusion and blur. So I called them, almost 30 of them rejected me because of my no experience.
Right.
Yeah, my no experience on that. I understood that though. But around 10, they said like because of my gender identity, I'm a trans woman. I dress like this, right? So I was not credible, and the organization didn't welcome this look, and that surprised. I knew that before, but when it faced to yourself, you experience yourself, it's like shock, it's like down. And yeah, I faced that kind of thing, but in the end, I think I never give up, and I still really believe in in the society, there is always room for you. There is always like some doors that open for you. And so I pursue my career in different journey in hospitality, in jewelry manufacturing, in the education institution, and I moved quite some fields career jobs, and in the end I just be here in the communication industry as a PR. Yeah.
What I like about your story is, and I really tell this a lot to my clients too, there is something about being more curious than afraid of your experience. Right. And I like curious because it's not like, okay, I need to change the way they think about me. It's just, okay, I'm just gonna be curious and I'm gonna keep looking and keep exploring. And I love the way you stayed in the game. I mean, in my world, staying in the game means like, okay, we just keep trying it, keep knocking on doors until somebody opens, until somebody gives you a chance. Yeah. I think so many people get discouraged, and after the first or second door or third door, they say, oh, it's not for me, or I can't do it. And I think love about your story is that you're really showing I really think it takes one person to show other people that it can be done. Right? That if you keep staying in the game, you keep knocking on doors, something can happen.
Even though I'm playing in a non-fair play game,
yeah,
but I still pushing myself to play in this game because I want to prove that I can do something different. And since I was young, yeah, that's the strong belief that I had, and I want to pursue in this journey. Otherwise, James, I could go for beauty pageant, do some kind of
like everybody else, right?
Like everybody else. I want to be like, a difference. So that's why.
So I want to move our conversation to, because I know a big part of your platform of TransTalents is really showing the hidden opportunity of having a gender diverse workforce. And so we'll just say, for example, here's a stereotype that that might be common, like, oh, we don't want to hire transgender people because they're hormonal and they're emotional and they're not dependent. Like, what would you say to that?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat
Okay,
again?
so
I
one of the
was
things, so we're going to move to talking about the hidden opportunity of having a more gender diverse workforce and community.
Yeah.
And just for example, as in a stereotype example, like someone who like someone might say, we don't hire transgender people because they're hormonal or they're not dependable. What would you say to things like that? Like the stereotypes you're up against when you're entering the workforce?
I think I feel while talking to the maybe organization or the
Right,
person who give the prejudice to the transgender,
right,
I think every gender has their own character and the way that we could explore each other in the sense that, well, if you close your mind to a
mm,
people you just meet, I think it's you lose some opportunity.
yeah,
You miss some hidden opportunities to know people, to know more. Not only about the transgender. I mean,
to
we have a lot
everybody,
of to everybody, right? So
right,
people just have the perception, but they use a less logical to judge the
right,
people. So
right.
why don't we just like put on another side, like open door for the people who you don't know and try to get them to learn more about them first, then and then you can judge better than just
Right.
judge it without knowing them.
Right. And so I think that's what you're really up against, right? Or I guess we're all up against in some ways judgment. And I was talking to I think Robin Sharbat, he wrote the book Invisible Power. And I asked him, and he's a really famous trainer in the UK and the US. And I asked him what was one of the main things you saw in your career as a trainer. And he said this, he said, whenever there's not love present, you will have misunderstanding. And so I think what I'm hearing from you is just really pointing at a lack of love, right? And if an organization is willing to judge you up front, you can tell there's a lack of love in that organization almost, right? Like, and
Hmm,
so I want to ask, like, in
interesting.
your mind, what's the hidden opportunity here? What's the hidden gems of having a more gender diverse workforce in your eyes? What have you seen?
Hmm. So I think we as a transgender, we have
Mm,
been facing a lot of pressure, discrimination, stigmatized, and hardship.
mm,
But I'm not going to, tell you that, okay, accept me to your work because of this kind of drama story. No.
right.
I think I see some key elements of us about the resilience.
Mm.
I think this is very important um, keyword as well. Resilience. Um, okay, and another word.
And so I think what I if I can help you out here, what I see
Yeah.
in listening to your story, and I mean just from your story of being born and raised in the slums of Bangkok, to getting yourself a scholarship in Switzerland, to going through a million walls to get to where you are today, I'd say
Mhm.
um there's like emotional resilience.
Okay,
Um,
got it to my mind. Yes.
okay,
Resilience and also adaptability.
great.
I think organization nowadays talk a lot about these two things
Right.
when hiring the people, right? So, you can have a people who has a very good mindset, skills and everything, but what about the emotionally resilience and adaptability skills?
Mm,
I think we try so hard to pushing ourselves to be accepted, to be admitted.
mm,
I know that we need to accept and admit ourselves. Of course, that's what we do. But living in a society to be included, I
mm,
think we need the acceptance from the others as well, especially the organization who really need the diversity in the workplace. Why? Not only this kind of character attribute of the transgender. But I think the more you have the diverse people working in your organization, productivity, your creativity, your performing would be like much better improved. That's what I learned, and that's what I see many organizations now today are developing this kind of value added to their
Right.
organization workforce.
Because you see now often, I think what organizations are looking for, especially in my work, or what they ask me to train their people to do, is like emotional resilience, creativity, adaptability, innovative thinking, problem solving. I think you've demonstrated all those things and more in your story. And so if I'm hearing you correctly, is that because of circumstance, perhaps the trans community already have these things with them, right? In the things they're faced with every day. So they bring those things to the workforce. I love that. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's what I also mentioned. Yeah.
I have a question. And this, before we move on to the other topics, what's probably like in your mind, in your heart, what was the hardest wall you've had to overcome within yourself or within your career path?
Mm.
And what was that like?
Basically, let me tell you this way. So as a transgender, we are facing two wars right now. The first war is about legal war, battlefield that, same-sex marriage, partnership bills, gender equality recognition by the law and regulation, by Thai, government, and that we have a lot of activists and the people who drive this already. But another thing, which is maybe bigger and very important as well, about the war of, perception of thinking of the people. I think that's very important because people prejudge and discriminate the people because of the way this group of people like transgender stay to who they are and stay with the truth. And they cannot change this truth, but what they can do, they can perform and learn and grow and give more value to the company, to the society, much better. And I think this is a war that we are facing, how to make people understand that diversity is already exists. It's there as always. Like.
And do you still face those things in your day-to-day life? Do you still experience?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, not really. But I, working with community, my friends, they have raised this issue to me every day.
Every day.
And
in your
I'm
TransTalent
grateful.
Community, right? Just to
personal and also TransTalent as well. They come from many ways, and like come from your talk today as well. Like, many questions coming around.
Right.
And I feel like I'm so grateful to be able to help them, to empathize and to listen to them and be part of their hardship, and to help them to twist their mindset and think in a way that could make them feel better. I think this is very important, and that could define as a mental health, the one that you are working with.
Right.
I
so
think
my role is, I think that's where our two worlds kind of intersect, is mental well-being for all. And I think that's one of the big reasons why I invited you on, because I saw that why is mental health and well-being only, why are we not talking about it for everybody, right? Like, I think because I really believe it's everybody's right to have mental well-being.
And because I experienced as a transgender in this Thai society before, so some pain and some problems like discrimination and everything, relationship that I have been experiencing myself as a transgender, I think that's my value to give advice to them, because I was feeling that way before. I have heard that many transgender, they really don't have a people who can understand truly what transgender life hardship has been, passed through, and they couldn't give a very matching advice to them, because people never, experience in that way.
So thank you for sharing. I'm learning so much today. I'm learning more today. So I'm going to talk briefly about privilege, because what would you say to some people who would say that you're just asking for special attention, or you're asking for special privilege? What would you say to that? Like privilege versus equality?
First, I think we need to understand what does privilege mean. It means like, we have the same thing, but you got more. So this is called, okay, you got privilege. But in Thai society, transgender not getting any doors open. Like James, you have mentioned, you are
right.
male.
As a male,
Doors
half-time male,
open.
I think doors are often open for me
Often.
by themselves, right? And
Yeah.
then for you, how many doors have opened for you?
Countable in the fingers. It's like, not really. And why this happened? Have you ever questioned why this happened to the people in the society, to your peers, to your friends? And this shouldn't happen, right? So we are requesting to the things that we never get. It doesn't mean that we need some extra. No, we don't need special treatment. We need just the basic human rights that everyone in the society should get it, should receive it since they was born as a human in this land, in this country, right?
So like things like being considered equally and fairly for the same jobs or job payment or marriage.
Yeah, why don't we play the fair game? I mean, you just don't afraid, like, the people who are different. I think we should embrace and welcome them to join in the game, especially in workplace. People just like don't know how well we can play the game in the business. So why don't you just like open the door for us to go in and compete in the game? Of course, we need to improve ourselves to be, a talent, to be, a person that could help drive your organization. This is our job, but your job needs to open the door for us, and that's it. You don't need to even, spend any single penny. You just open the door, and
you're
that's
just
it,
asking
right?
for an opportunity.
Yeah, but we need to invest a lot in ourselves to be a talent.
So now let's talk about TransTalent, because you're the founder of TransTalent. So I'd love to hear more about that. Like what's your vision and mission with it, and what do you hope to achieve with it?
All right, so this platform I call TransTalent. Is trans. It's not a transgender only. It's a transformation and transformative to be a talent. So I welcome everybody, but first I would focus on the transgender issue. Because why? I mentioned earlier, many
that's been your experience.
Yeah, it starts from the pain point of living as a transgender in the workplace. I focus on the professional career because 77% of people transgender got rejected to the job application because of their gender identity. So I start from that pain point. I want to change in this perspective. I wanted to reduce this number. So that's why I created this platform for two targets. The first target is about transgender who need all the resources, trainings, advice, empowerment, and direction or whatever, to help them to grow and to learn about how to be able to grow or thrive in the professional career like I am. So I will use myself as a case study, as an advisor. And second target is about the corporate company. I want to make the company know that actually trans can work. Trans can be professional, like to eradicate the image of incredibility that people always tell us trans is not credible. This keyword is like, it's a curse. We have been staying with this curse for decades. So I want to remove this one and get people to know us more, because I don't see any workplace or any, I don't know, channels that focusingly on the transgender ability, performance in professional career. The media portrayed in the way like, beauty, media, entertainment. So what is another thing? So that's the way the TransTalent could work, to matching them, the job seeker and the corporate, who knows and embrace together for the better society.
And you say that a lot. I think what I'm hearing in you, and also I think what I love about TransTalent is like you're giving I think perhaps the younger generation who are trans, someone to look up to and kind of give them a roadmap. I wonder, when you were young, who did you look up to, or who was the person that inspired you?
No one.
No one. You didn't have any role models.
I look at myself. That's why I told
Really?
you I didn't have any role model, because in that time,
They didn't
three
exist, right?
3 decades back, we had no transgender working in the professional career and be a role model at all. We have
Mm.
just, beauty pageant, miss everything.
So
Celebrity,
when you,
yes, we
so
have.
just so in case people don't understand, when you say Miss, what do you mean? Miss
Oh, sorry,
Tiff,
like, yeah,
Miss
beauty,
Tiffany,
Miss Tiffany, Miss Augasta, or
which are beauty
celebrities,
pageants
beauty
for trans women.
pageant
Okay,
for trans women in Thailand.
right.
We have just that role model.
But there was no like top CEO or like
No,
Forbes list. Like you didn't have
no,
any of that in Thailand, and you still
no,
don't,
no.
right? In many ways. Yeah.
That's why I think I want to be in that way,
Mm.
to be the top management of the company, the CEO or whatever. So, and that, if you ask me about who is the role model, I think myself. I
I
look at
love
the
that.
mirror, I tell myself that yes, I could be that one.
Mm.
Mm.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So I wonder now is, before we wrap up, another curious question comes to mind. If you could go back and like kind
Mm.
of miss Nikki right now, and you could go back and talk to the younger version of you just starting out, what would you say to that young person?
Talk to myself in the past
Yeah,
decades,
yeah.
right?
If you were to
Okay.
talk to little Nikki, what would you say?
Mm. Nikki, you are so cool. It's good that you don't believe anyone else and believe in yourself. And that's, you could see yourself in me as today.
Mm,
That's it.
that's powerful. So I guess my last questions I'd like to ask guests are, if you could give a gift to the people listening, it could be an understanding, an insight, or an idea, or even your fellow trans community, what would that gift be?
So I would say not only for the trans community, I think we are living in the society who has been, this society, the Thai society, has been shaped in the way that we don't empathize each other that much. So
Mm.
I really left the empathy issue a matters that everyone should have. First, for yourself, give the permission for you to live, to learn, and to grow. I think this is very important. Once you
Regardless
don't,
of what you like, regardless of gender, of race, and that, just so you give
whatever.
yourself permission to learn, to
Yeah,
grow. Mm.
yeah, I think this is very important. If you allow yourself to do something different, go for it. And that's key important why you can be yourself today. And apart from empathy yourself, I think you need to empathy, the people around, not only about the transgender people, your friends, your family, your society. We need a lot more improvement. When the Thai society put too much energy, resources, time to the dramatic stories, to the inequality, to this kind of discrimination, is the opportunity cost. You
Mm.
lose to do something better. You lose the opportunity to develop the society, the people to be better and make the progress to your society. I think in the big picture for the society, that's very important. And the last thing, when you empathy yourself and the others, don't remember that everyone needs to be part of the community. Don't leave anyone behind. Just,
Mm.
get them included. And that could make the world much bigger and better. This is my
Mm.
belief.
That's
And a gift
really
for you.
powerful. Thank you so much. And I think if I were to reflect on our conversation today, I would say that it really goes back to what Robin Charbit said. I think it's like, when there's a lack of love, there's misunderstanding. And to go back to what you just said, is I think when there's misunderstanding, there's so much opportunity cost wasted on misunderstanding.
Yeah.
When I think in what you're sharing is, you could have a lot more powerful leaders and creators and talents, right? Talk about talents, not just people who follow the step by step, but real talents who want to grow and thrive in an organization if you give them an opportunity. And I also saw the resilience in you as well. And I can't help but wonder how many people you are, of all genders, you are already inspiring with your just resilience and your own talent and creativity and innovation. I think this country is really lucky to have you. And any organization is really lucky to have you as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, James. I think not only me who can inspire, I would also rest this, how could I say that? Like you, as a cisgender or whatever you call yourself, you know, male, female, everyone could enhance these issues together, you know, inclusivity and equality. Because it's not that we have a problem and only trans need to talk about, need to address about it. I think everyone could help it because we are living in together. And I believe the power of people and togetherness could bring something better and more powerful if we moved together, not only us.
Yeah. My favorite story about that is a mentor, Michael Neal, and he asked somebody, you know, how many people does it take to make a sandwich? And the person's like, well, one person, it's only me. And it's like, but if you really think about it, you need someone to make the bread, to pack it, to grow it. You need someone to make the jam. And I think with organization, it's nothing is ever done by yourself. Like you really do need everybody to be at your best, to grow a community and a country, I reckon.
Yeah, you're right.
Brilliant. So lastly, I'd love for you to share with us your plug, like where can we find you, where can we spend time with you? And I'll put all the links below, but I'd love for you to share where can we do that.
All right, so actually I'm very active on social media, so you could connect it to me, or you know, sometimes you don't need to have like, you know, project or some collaboration work, this kind of thing. No, you just, you know, connect each other to know and to learn more about each other. If you are curious about how to interact with these, you know, transgender people, not to be like, you know, how to be politely interact and to know with this kind of group of person, so you can connect to me in the TransTalent in Facebook, YouTube channel, and I also active on LinkedIn for the professional work. So many ways you can connect with me.
Also,
and through you, James.
Yeah, and through me. So this is another question. I think I'm practicing asking this question. What would you like help with?
Sorry?
What would you like help with? Like, as if people listening, and like, what could we help Nikki with?
Okay.
What's something you'd like help with?
So what people could help me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as I mentioned, so just help, you know, separate the understanding among each other. Like when you listen to our podcast today, I think you learned something about how you could understand and how you could respect. I think these two keywords would be a key message for today. And you can help this by not judge people, including transgender, open your eyes and your heart to learn more about these people. And yeah, you could share this podcast too.
Yeah,
to help,
okay, share this podcast. Kind of that's what you gotta do.
You're right, yeah.
All right, well, this was a wonderful conversation. I'm so happy we did it in English. I want to share this with all my friends. And I don't know if anybody's told you this, but I'm really proud of you and everything you've done and everything you continue to do. I hope to just spread this message of just love, like everything in what you're saying. All I hear is just love for your own community, for yourself, and for the people who you work with. And this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and energy and heart.
Thank you so much, and thank you for everything that you have done and your inspirational, you know, podcast. And I hope people enjoy and be, you know, and do something better for yourself and your community. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I will see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.